What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another Pay-Per-Viewpoint edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is the WWE Fastlane 2018 post-show where we will be recapping and reviewing our thoughts on what just happened on the pay-per-view. It ended about half an hour ago or so it's pretty fresh in our minds, and we're going to talk about everything from start to finish, what we liked, what we didn't like, and all the other stuff in between there. And who is we? Well, I'm your host as always, Tony Mango, and joining me, if you are reading the comment section, or the description, that's what it is, you should see by the hashtag, it is Robert D. Felice.
Yo, we're officially on the road to WrestleMania, and we have more questions than answers.
And Fastlane is over with, so now we can go over to the slow lane, where everything comes to a screeching halt, and drags its ass out for 5 weeks. Thankfully, that's not necessarily the case. They're going to get some more information on Raw, and we're going to get some more information on SmackDown, and they did a couple things tonight that I thought were pretty interesting. Some of them called ahead of time. Some of them I actually thought, you know what? Maybe that's going to be a little bit different than I expected. So let's start things first with the pre-show, the way that we should. That's the first thing of the night. Mostly just recap stuff, nothing really to report here. The New Day gave Charlie Caruso a pancake for the road. I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, I'll also say the New Day had a great promo before giving Charlie the pancake for the road. Like, the New Day is really bringing it with the promos and the seriousness with this Uso feud, and I really enjoyed that promo. Other than that, Booker T was gold on the microphone while he was talking about all the matches, specifically the main event, how everybody was really pushing, but the fans really need AJ versus Shinsuke, and Booker kind of looked at the panel and was like, who cares what the fans want? This is about the superstars trying to make it to WrestleMania. The fans will get what they get, you know. And I appreciated that. And also, which I guess we'll get into more when we cover the first match, but they really did question whether or not Shinsuke was over enough to stop the Rusev Day chants, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, that's something we need to pick up in a minute. But first, before that, we actually had just a random match thrown onto the pre-show, which, before even saying what it is, in case somebody's listening to this without having checked out the pay-per-view or something like that, you can't not announce anything on a pre-show, having had multiple years of pre-shows where there is a stigma for it, that you assume a pre-show isn't going to matter. But if you don't announce anything ahead of time, then you go, wow, this really isn't going to matter. And then you announce something at the last minute, and it is a 6-man tag team match between people that have had no interaction with each other whatsoever over the past couple of weeks. Some of them not even been on TV at all, and assume that people are going to give a shit. And it's unfortunate because the people that were involved in this, I like all of them except for one. Ty Dillinger and Breezango were up against Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, and the one that I consider the outlier, Mojo Rawley. To be fair, I don't think that Mojo Rawley is like terrible or anything like that, but he doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree. I did think that if you're going to put 3 guys together, Mojo, Benjamin, and Gable, because they do have real athlete and athletic backgrounds, I thought they could be a good pairing if Mojo can tone down the hype stuff a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to change that. Well, I mean, before they even did anything like that, just the idea that they had given him that heel gimmick, he can't do that whole run to the ring with that energetic promo music.
He's like a financial graduate, isn't he, from whatever university he went to? He could incorporate some of that into his character and really tone it down. That's what he needs to do.
Well, this was one of those scenarios where the match didn't matter. There was no setup to it. And the people, admittedly, even though I like them, they're not the ones that are going to get the biggest pops out of the arena. So,
although, you got to admit, the crowd was going crazy. I don't know if you had the volume up for that one, but the crowd was just really into this match for whatever reason.
They had more fun than I thought that they were going to. I'll give them that, yeah. And I think that a good reason for that was how it started with Chad Gable doing that whole, like, go ahead, I'll give you the first shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Tyler Breeze just being like, all right, I guess I'll like ride you like a fucking pony or something. Like that type of stuff can get the crowd to be like, all right, I'm having a little bit of fun here, instead of just being like, oh, what are these jabronis up to? You know, that kind of a thing. But it ended up being just one of those things where if you didn't see it, you didn't miss anything, you know?
If you're a fan of Botchamania, you're going to know that a lot of moves, you could clearly tell they were missed by a mile. Specifically, 2 drop kicks, one from Breeze and one from Dango. And the people still sold it like, you know, it was a huge impact. And little things like that kind of tweak me when it's that blatant.
Well, that was like a theme for tonight, was botching.
Yeah, very weird.
One match in particular, I'll point it out when we get to it a little bit down the line, but not every match, not every move, not something like that, but there was enough where it was just kind of like, man, they're getting a little sloppy tonight. And I guess you could constitute that sloppy booking at the very least when it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Oh, by the way, Dillinger pinned Rawley, I think, for the win.
Dillinger did pin Rawley. In fact, one more thing, Ziggler was on the social media lounge, and Sam Roberts was on the panel tonight, and he asked the question, do you think this is your last shot at the WWF Championship? And Ziggler just says, well, Sam, I'm not that old. And it's just very funny.
Did you see his Twitter promos?
I did. And, you know, I'm really into it. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Ziggler. One week when we're not doing a bunch of pay-per-views, we gotta have like a Ziggler roundtable with, you know, me, you, Callum, and some other people. But I'm a huge fan of Ziggler. He could be a thing. This is just another, you know, obviously they're not gonna do anything with him. They just threw him in this match because they needed a guy to, you know, bump around and make shit look good. But yeah, he cuts great promos, especially in an internet setting. And I just think he can still be tapped into because he still has so much potential.
Well, we'll definitely address something with him and his future, because I have a big question as far as that's concerned. But one thing that we need to address here, the Shinsuke Nakamura Rusev thing, that was weird. And it was exactly what I was expecting it to be. Rusev and Nakamura was not a pairing that I thought made any sense. And right off the bat, match starts and you hear Nakamura, let's go Rusev, Nakamura, let's go Rusev. And it's like, all right, yeah. Half the crowd doesn't support the guy that's going to head into WrestleMania and challenge with his Royal Rumble shot. Because you put him up against a guy that is over despite being a heel.
And again, I don't think Rusev is over. I just think the Rusev Day thing is over because it's fun to chant. And, you know, Nakamura, the match was fine. It went on way too long for my taste for a guy who, you know, won the Royal Rumble and is going to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, but why was this so competitive?
Because every match has to be now. And I'll talk about that in the Randy Bobby match, but people have gotten so used to everything has to be super competitive and super, you know, back and forth, and what a great match. And it didn't need to be that here, but that's what we got, and it was fine. Aiden English tried to rap in the beginning. It was very funny. They're good comedy guys. I see Rusev either winning the Andre, or if they do the cluster ladder, he'll be in that.
Or I'm thinking he's just in the Andre, but I'm starting to think he doesn't win it either. I don't know. That's something that's very kind of...
You think he's kind of like a Mizdow?
Yeah, like that they look at this and they go, wow, you're selling a lot of merchandise. That's cool. And then he goes, can I get a push out of it? And they're like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're chanting for you, but don't worry about it. We'll get rid of that real quick.
It's like, look, we'd have to shuffle a lot around... And then they're like, well, really? I mean, you could just kind of like have me win a couple matches. Yeah, but like, we'd have to use whiteout on those sheets of paper. I don't know, Rusev. How about you, like, just, you know, you don't really win anything for the next 6 months. It's like, wait, what?
And I asked this question in the group chat, but really, why isn't Lana part of this package. We've long since dispatched the idea that she's going to do anything in the women's division.
Yeah.
Why isn't she just with her husband?
That's something that I'm really curious about, too, because they should have her out, because there's no reason for her not to be out. If they don't want her to get cheered because of the fact that Rusev gets cheered, well, you're still continuing to keep Rusev a heel. So it doesn't matter. You're ignoring it, and you can't ignore it for only one half of it. And if like the Aiden English thing was like, well, we don't really want Aiden English to get over here. We want Rusev to get over. And that's why we don't want Lana. Well, then Aiden English is getting the same kind of response because he's next to Rusev anyway. So just bring her into the mix. She's not doing anything else to distract her. It's not like that Tamina thing's going to go anywhere. Tamina's injured. She doesn't have anybody to fight on SmackDown, and she isn't fighting anybody. Have her come out. What the hell? Why not? You're paying her, you know?
And I mean, they're together on the Mixed Match Challenge. They're having a ball doing that. You know, just let them do their thing. If you're going to just let them be fun characters anyway, just let them do their thing together, you know?
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't quite understand that, but I don't understand why this was a competitive match either, like we were saying. Not that I want it to be a squash, but it really, like, Rusev is not the same undefeated monster kind of character that he was when he first came into WWE. He just isn't. Right now, he needs to work his way up a little bit more to get to the spot where if he won the mid-card title, he would look like he was elevating it. He doesn't look like at that spot right now. He can be, pretty easily. Just a couple of wins here and there. But right now, he is not even in that mid-card level quite yet.
I don't know, dude. These mid-card titles are really starting to look like almost secondary world championships.
Right. That's what I mean, though. Like, he is not at that level to be that an upper mid-card type of champion.
Like, when he beat Kalisto, like, he was the perfect fit for that era of the U.S. title. A U.S. title that is currently, after tonight, held by Randy Orton. Like, I can't see Rusev, bringing anything to that title other than a demotion. No.
Yeah, that would make the title look worse. So by proxy, Shinsuke Nakamura just won the Royal Rumble. Only, I think it's like 27 men or something have won that. Or actually, might be even less than that. Because like Hogan won it 3 times, Austin won it 3 times, or 4 times, or whatever the hell he won it. With all the multiple different wins and stuff like that, there hasn't been 30 people that have won it. So Nakamura is in a really small group of people. And out of all those people, almost all of them ended up being Hall of Famers. For him to go into his first WrestleMania, and he's fighting for the WWE Championship, and he's most likely going to win it, and they didn't give him anything to do this past month, really. And he's up against a guy who's going to get cheered in front of him, who's 2 spots lower on the card than he is, and that guy's going to put up a fight. It's supposed to, I guess, make Rusev look better. All it does is make Nakamura look worse,
For sure.
So it's disappointing to see, but they did make the right call with Nakamura winning, at the very least. If he would have lost that would have been like, Jesus, what are you doing?
Nakamura is the 24th man to win the Royal Rumble. I just
24th?
24th, yeah, I did the math in my head.
So yeah, that's a small group of people after all those years. And I don't know. I just they need to do something to make me care more about this Nakamura feud, because we've talked about this before. They're resting on the laurels of the IWC geeking out over a New Japan match that we've already seen.
And that's what's so weird, because they bring these Sam Roberts, Peter Rosenberg guys on there, and they're supposed to be the voice of the internet, right? And they kept going on and on about how this match needs to happen for the WWE Universe. Can you imagine, saying, well, Austin and Rock need to fight not for the title, but because they need to fight for the people. The fans want to see Austin and Rock. Or, I don't know, Shawn Michaels and Taker. They're literally just saying this needs to happen because the fans will mark out in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And they're doing that with a lot of stuff, too. They kept talking about And the internet's going crazy about the Usos and the New Day. It's like, okay, yes, and that's true, but also, who cares? These are still people fighting for prizes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and why not try to make it... You can hint at it, obviously. And you can say stuff like, Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles is one of those dream matches you don't get to see all that often.
And, even with the John Cena thing, they're really playing on the smarkiness and the idea of, well, we know that we can all read online what the proposed plans are, but John really doesn't have a proposed idea. Like, Meltzer hasn't predicted anything for Cena, so we have no idea what John Cena's projected path on the road to WrestleMania is. And it's really weird. Like, they just can't be like, yo, Shinsuke won the Rumble, AJ's the champion, they're great athletes, and they're gonna, fight to see who's the best. It's no, the fans.
I think it's because they want to hit home that whole idea of, you guys want this, we're giving it to you, please don't bitch and complain about the Brock thing.
But you know what? Even with the Brock thing, like, they are just feeding so much into the internet, and, well, the internet knows that Lesnar's not there, and they finally got them to cheer Roman by having Roman go, fuck Brock. And we could talk about that on this show, by the way, because they actually covered Reigns and Lesnar on the SmackDown show.
And Ronda Rousey and that whole thing.
Fucking weird, man.
I was just like, all right, let's take 5 minutes out of our schedule to be like, this is happening on Monday Night Raw. It's just like, I get it. I understand why. The Ronda Rousey thing is their top priority right now, essentially, but it's a little bit annoying sometimes. Especially because it's like, if I don't watch Monday Night Raw and all I did was watch is SmackDown, I don't care what's happening on Monday Night Raw. If I do watch Monday Night Raw, I already fucking saw this. You know what I mean? I hate the recaps. I hate them so much.
One thing that's going to suck about the unified pay-per-views is a lot of guys are going to lose chances to make an impact. Like, you won't see even a pre-show match with Ty Dillinger and Breezango, and like, it's gonna be really hard for guys like that.
It's like, you take the good with the bad. It's going to be bad that those people don't get that kind of an opportunity, but it's going to be good that we don't get matches like, we're not going to talk about right now, but that the women's tag match.
Yeah.
Like that. Whew. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, before that was the United States Championship match between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, and surprise, surprise, Randy Orton wins the title here. So I had mentioned this before in the pre-show, in the predictions, that the way that I saw it, the United States title match and the SmackDown tag title match, one of them could end in a no contest, one of them could end in a title change. And I couldn't quite decide on which one I thought would go with what. And the more I thought about it, the more I kept going, well, all right, if one of them has a title change, I can imagine the New Day winning more than Randy Orton. And at the same time, I could imagine the Bludgeon Brothers attacking more than I could think of Jinder Mahal attacking. But they've both kind of done that, and I was like, it's really just you flip a coin, kind of. So I was actually legitimately a little bit surprised that Randy Orton won the title here. And he won it clean. There wasn't distraction beforehand that led to it, or a heel turn. He just won the title. And that was kind of cool. I liked the match enough, but before we got started, you mentioned something, and the more that I thought about it, the more I kind of agreed. Even though I liked the match enough, I wasn't wowed.
And I think that's a huge problem. Like, I was so used to guys with this kind of build, main eventing things, and growing up, that was the majority of what you watched and why you watched. And this match was so traditional that a lot of people were texting me like, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, wow, have we really gotten that far into the, high spot era that, like, people can't do a Randy Orton match?
I guess not.
It was very weird. I did like that only one RKO was hit, no glorious DDTs were hit. They really made the finisher count. I liked this match a lot because it was a traditional style match, and you don't see a lot of those. You could tell the people got bored because midway through they started chanting for Byron Saxton.
Oh, I
Really
didn't hear that.
kind of got under my skin, like, because it was a good match, especially for what it was. Now, Bobby Roode is an idiot because anyone who wrestles Randy Orton knows you do not attempt to jump at this man.
Yeah.
He will catch you in an RKO, and that's exactly what happened here. Bobby Roode went for his signature blockbuster from the middle rope, and Randy caught him like he was Christian in 2011 and dropped him with the RKO for the clean pin. Now, the surprising thing here is they aired the video package on the pre-show. I said, no Mahal in that package. 5 seconds later, Mahal comes out to the panel and says, why wasn't I in that package? I beat Randy, I beat Bobby. Why am I not in this match? And I'm wondering, well, what the fuck? And he even says, and I'll probably be on commentary for this. Nothing. So, after the match, and maybe you want to take it from here, Tony?
Well, that leads to what kind of was a little bit of what the predictions were, where at some point Jinder Mahal needed to make an appearance. So thankfully he did. He kind of, interferes, even though he interferes after it doesn't really matter anymore. And then people start going nuts. I start getting a bunch of emails, everybody going, Bobby Roode just turned heel. He didn't just turn heel. Don't worry about it. There's a chance maybe he turns heel, but him fighting Orton after the matter when everything's all getting chaotic, that's more of a statement of just frustration and stuff than it is turning heel.
But I think they made it clear between the pre-show and the aftermath of the match that the one they're going to turn will be Bobby.
I hope so. Because I want both Roode and Orton to turn heel this year. And I think that we've got a lot of matches that we can get out of both of those being heel. And that kind of applies in a couple different ways. Like Randy Orton, to me, I think he works as a babyface because he's been there long enough that people cheer him just because he's a legacy character at this point. No pun intended. But Bobby Roode, he doesn't work as a babyface to me. So if you have to push one aside and keep one of them babyface for right now, it's Orton. Roode, if he turns, I don't think it happened right now. I think we're going to get one of those slow kind of, I guess a little bit on like the Dolph Ziggler side, a little bit on the kind of the Mickie James side a little bit, where this might be the impetus for that heel turn, but we're going to see him be a tweener these next couple of weeks. And I'm assuming we're getting Randy Orton as the babyface, Jinder Mahal as the heel, Bobby Roode as the tweener.
I hope they don't do that for the simple fact of literally the Raw counterpart to this match is the Intercontinental title being defended in a three-way. Do not do the tit-for-tat brand thing. I hate when they do that. It just it says we have no originality. We're just doing the exact same thing on the other brands.
Well, there's a possibility that triple threat for the Raw Intercontinental title might turn into that Fatal 5-Way. Remember?
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? I'm going to say no because they've done enough to where I think Braun is separated from that. I think Elias is separated from that. I hope they don't conjoin them because we don't need that.
I don't think that we're getting Strowman and Elias in a separate match, though. So that's where it kind of comes into play.
I think if Strowman does anything, I think Strowman's winning the Dre.
That's definitely a possibility. And this is something we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks a little bit, but this card is shaping up to be triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, like almost no singles matches, which is kind of crazy.
Get everybody on the card, WrestleMania style.
Yep. So if we do get a triple threat, Roode, Orton, Jinder Mahal. Could be worse. You know, it's not going to be the most exciting thing in the world, but I'll take it.
Hold on.
And the downside for that kind of a thing, though, this is where I get a little problematic when it comes to the triple threat thing. So now I've already seen Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton. I've already seen Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal, God knows how many times. And Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal, twice, 3 times, something like that. So there's nothing on the next 5 weeks that I think that's going to happen that's going to make me really want to tune into this more than if they would have just told me WrestleMania's tomorrow. For this thing, at least. You know, other matches definitely, but like the United States title thing, I don't know if they're really going to add any more elements to it.
Really? And I think we're going to have to talk about that main event eventually, but I really think the U.S. title gets the, what is now seemingly a tradition, clusterfuck ladder match. And it'll be for the U.S. title, and it'll be these 3 guys, you know, Ziggler for sure, Corbin for sure, and maybe Rusev.
Possibility.
Because I just don't see them taking 2 guys from the main event of Fastlane and sticking them in the pre-show battle royal. I could be wrong. And I just definitely don't see them not doing a ladder match. As weird as it seems, I've gotten so used to the WrestleMania ladder match again.
Well, the good thing about when we start talking about like setting some up for cards, a WrestleMania card, you've got that sort of need to be like, all right, we need to put everybody on the card. When you get to the normal B level kind of things, you're going to be able to skip past a lot of different people. And that sucks for the TV shows because the TV shows are going to look weaker because then we're going to be like, oh, we have this match between these people. Like, you know, say, let's bring up, like you brought up like Ty Dillinger earlier. I like Ty Dillinger. I think that he doesn't get enough credit. And when he doesn't show up on any of the pay-per-views and then he comes out to wrestle, people are going to be like, who's this dude? You know what I mean? But the good side, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier, you're not going to get matches like the Becky Lynch, Naomi versus Carmella and Natalya match, because shit, was that match pointless. And bad, too.
I feel like we sometimes get on the women's matches. I'm going to be honest here. Yes, the women are doing great things. This was absolutely my food break. This was absolutely the time I chose to go get food and stuff like that. Unfortunately, since they aired 2 Monday Night Raw vignettes before this, I came back and they were still only on the entrances for this for this match. And this match was clunky as all hell.
Well, the thing is, even if you would have gone and gotten your food, it wouldn't have been because it's the women's match. It's because this had literally the worst build out of any match on the card other than the
Shinsuke
6-man tag match. The 6-man tag match, that was just, hey, this match is happening. There's nothing other than that. They had a backstage thing where they were like, they bumped into each other backstage. That was it.
And by the way, if you didn't know, the Fashion Files are on .com, which is why we didn't see the build-up for this match, because who really goes out of their way to check WWE.com for videos anymore?
Yeah, and you have to click on it at a certain time of day to get that, where it gets pushed down further if you don't. And, you know, it's just not worth the time and the effort to get invested in it. But they didn't put any effort into this women's tag team match. Nothing was on the line. Nothing mattered. It had no effect on anything. We know that it's not going to have an effect on anything going forward. By the end of the night, they proved that. So why?
It served a purpose. They put Carmella over. Because...
Well, shit, she was the only one who wasn't botching all over the place tonight. Like,
yeah, she showed a lot of intensity. That I will say about this match. She was very intense. It looked like they were trying to start to give her some edge because they're getting ready to run with her eventual cash-in. But yeah, the other 3 women, there's a lot of spots where I could just point out how it was just awkward. Like, the movements were awkward, you know?
it reminded me of something that we would have seen in the live shows of NXT, where like they're not used to a lot of these things yet. It's not second nature. And these people are, I mean, all four of them have different levels of talent for different things, and all four of them have every right to be there. They're like, there's no question in that to me. Like, out of all of them, Carmella is the one that's the least kind of
Polished.
Yeah, polish is a good word for it. Natty knows what she's doing. Naomi has known what she's doing for a long fucking time, and they just finally started pushing her 2 years ago. And Becky Lynch, she's been great, pretty much from the start. So I would have thought, if anything, that Carmella would have been the one that was botching things. And when she first started it off and she dropped her hat and kicked it out of the way, it was like, that's kind of funny, whatever. But this thing with like Naomi and Natalya getting tossed out of the ring.
That was so weird.
What the fuck was going on with that? Like, neither of them were like, do I go out? Do I go out this side or do I go out that side? All right, well, are you throwing me or am I throwing myself out? And it was just kind of like, you do this all the time. What's going on?
Like, she threw her to I guess that would be the western side of the ring. And then she's like, no, wait. Over here. And then it was just fucking clunky, man.
Yeah.
Naomi botched a move she does all the time, which is
that
like
kick?
Cody Rhodes, the Cody Rhodes little disaster kick thing, and that was awkward. I don't know, man. There was a lot of just miscommunication. Let me say this: it reminded me. You can get sucked in a lot with the athleticism. This match reminded me that these women are very human. Like there's a lot of just genuine human error that would come from a performance like these.
And let me be perfectly honest for everybody that they might be new to this podcast. Anytime that we're criticizing these people, it's not that we're saying we could do it better. Because I sure as fuck cannot. It's just a matter of, if you go to a restaurant and you order a steak and I order my steak medium well. If you cook it well done, you overcooked my steak. And
I ordered my steak medium rare, and if I got a well done steak, I would raise hell.
Yeah, the last well done steak that I got, I sent it back afterward, and then they gave me like half of my bill off or something like that. I can't remember, but that's something where I'm not a professional chef, but I know that you overcooked my steak if I said medium well and it's burnt. Like that's kind of what it is. And you can be critical of something without being able to do it yourself. If I went to a mechanic and I said, look, my tire needs to get replaced because it's got a leak in it. And they come back and they go, yeah, we're missing a tire. Then I go, yeah, that's fucking worse. And they go, well, you're a mechanic. You can fucking do better. And then I'll be like, well, I probably could at that point. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the type of thing where it doesn't have to be that kind of a scenario. And for this, like, yeah, I could not do anything that they were doing in this ring. I would be terrible as an in-ring performer. But that doesn't mean I can't point out that they fucked up a little bit here. And I would be willing to kind of just brush it aside if it was something where it was like one little screw up here and the rest of it was fine. But the rest of it just really wasn't entertaining either. And there wasn't any point for it.
Where Carmella's like, Natty, give me the brief.
Yeah.
And Natalya's just kind of standing there waiting for Carmella to take it. I don't know if she didn't have confidence in her throw, like didn't want to drop the briefcase, but it just another weird moment because Carmella was clearly like, Natty, throw me the briefcase, and Natalya was just like, yeah, why don't you come get it?
Yeah, that whole thing was just weird. This was easily my least favorite part of the whole night.
And then, I'm going to be honest, the suspension of disbelief on Carmella's finisher was real hard for me, because it was just kind of not even like a super kick, just sort of like a push kick to the face, and I've seen Becky get up from a lot worse, so I was just kind of like, okay, sure, whatever, they put Carmella over, I know where this is going.
Well, doesn't she have some kind of a submission finisher?
She did, but I'm guessing they don't want the baby faces to tap out, because, like, it's not a very babyface thing to do.
Yeah, it should be fine. It's not like anybody gives a shit about this match, too. That's the other thing. Like, this isn't going to matter. Nobody's going to be like, I don't know if I'm going to watch WrestleMania after that match. You know, I really didn't want Becky to tap out, so I'm going to not check out that 7-hour, 9-hour, whatever show. Like, that's just, this was the worst part of the night, I thought.
Real quick, what do you think about Becky's gear?
I liked it.
You did? I'm cool with her doing the, kind of old school look, but the design on the gear just, you know how I think it was it Fuego who was bashing Rollins at the Rumble for his gear?
Might have been.
That's how I felt. Like, it just seemed super Bush League for some reason, and I was just like, I wasn't a fan of it, but
I thought that was more flattering and better looking than when she comes out with like the greenish like shirt and stuff.
Steampunk kind of.
Yeah, I don't like that all that much. Like the coat, I like, and like the goggles, I like that stuff. But a lot of her gear seems a little bit too like, I don't know, too bulky or something. So that streamlined singlet kind of look, I was like, all right, I can dig that, you know. Carmella's, man, that was like, how much tighter can that get? That's pretty good.
it fits her very well.
Yeah. Then we went into a match that I have to admit I thought was a little bit underwhelming. I expected it to be like a real fucking balls to the wall great match, but
because they ran through it to get to what seemed like a 7-minute after segment.
Yeah, this really was. We just want the Bludgeon Brothers to come out and attack these two teams, which kind of called it. I'll have to admit, I can't give myself 100% credit because I did split it between the two, but I figured we'd get a no contest. And the Bludgeon Brothers coming out and attacking both teams accomplishes exactly what it needed to do. The New Day didn't lose this match, so they are kind of entitled to a title match. And the Bludgeon Brothers, they've worked their way into the feud now. You could do that triple threat. Bludgeon Brothers are the heels. The Usos and the New Day kind of take the babyface part, depending on where they are. Usos kind of more on the tweener side than the New Day would be. And I think that that's a guarantee we get new champions at WrestleMania. It's just a matter of who, you know?
Let me say, too, the match for what it was very good, even though it was, like, real quick, fast-paced. They told a story of, all right, we're just going to do you better than you do you. And they just kept doing each other's signature moves. It was a fun match. And then the Bludgeon Brothers came out and all fucking hell broke loose. And they beat the crap out of these 5 guys.
Yeah, they looked strong. And that's what needed to happen.
The first thing that came into my head, honestly, was I want Wyatt to go back to SmackDown and be with these 2 guys again because they looked like monsters.
Did you think that heading into this kind of scenario, we've got the Usos, they're doing the whole thing with like respecting the New Day respects the Usos, but they really they just become champions and stuff like that. The Bludgeon Brothers are the type of team to me that I don't know if I really want them to win those tag titles.
I don't think they will.
I'm kind of hoping that they don't. It makes perfect sense if they do win because they are like the beast monster crew, but I don't want them to win.
I do, only in the sense that this is the 3rd time they've put them back together. Put the damn titles on them already. You know, like, they keep doing this thing where it's like Harper and Rowan, they're this great monster beast of a team, and put the belts on them. I don't think it happens at WrestleMania because WrestleMania usually, more often than not, belongs to the baby faces. But they can lose without having to lose in a triple threat scenario.
Yeah, then they can kind of pick it up at the next pay-per-view and fight the New Day or fight the Usos in a regular tag team match and kind of go that way. But
can we talk about Woods?
Yeah, the follow-up with Woods on this was that they were saying, like, well, you got taken to the hospital for some kind of thing or whatever, but I'm not quite sure where they're going to take that storyline. I'm assuming that's kind of to even the odds.
Like, I don't know if he's legitimately hurt or if I think maybe his wife is about to give birth if she hasn't already. Like, I don't know, but Woods, if he was acting, it was fantastic acting. He was twitching all over the place, looked like something serious happened to him. It was good stuff.
So I don't know when this just got posted or whatever. Apparently Jeff Hardy just got arrested Saturday night.
What?
Yeah. I was just trying to look up to see some other information about another match that I was just going to talk about a little bit later on. And yeah, that just happened. So,
like yesterday.
Yeah. Hot tag tomorrow or
yeah.
whenever we do it.
We'll talk about that tomorrow or Tuesday or whatever that way.
Yeah.
Oh God, Jeff.
I don't see anything about the Woods situation being like that he's got some kind of updated like the pregnancy type of thing or something like that. I don't see anything about that.
They claim that he was going to the hospital for a spinal contusion, and I hate when they do things like that because, when you try to make a story out of it and then you stop a match mid-match for like a little cut, it's very misleading.
Multiple thoracic contusions. That's what they're labeling on WWE.com. And the fact that it's WWE.com means it's a storyline. But you never know if they are masking a different plan, that kind of a thing. That's where it gets a little interesting. But I kind of think that maybe that's a good way to make it to where it's not 2-on-2-on-3 for the next couple of weeks. He'll be back at WrestleMania. Yeah. He'll be back at WrestleMania, not wrestling in the match, probably.
Just he'll be on the outside with the trombone.
Yep. I think that's how they'll end up playing that out. But speaking of plans for WrestleMania, we know for a fact now that the WrestleMania plans for the Women's Championship on SmackDown is Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, because we had Charlotte retain against Ruby Riott.
In another very clunky match, by the way. Holy shit, there was a spot there where, I think she was supposed to do a back body drop to the outside, and Ruby somehow threw herself onto the middle rope, like a 619 position. Just a really clunky night overall for SmackDown.
Better match than the other one, but not great,
Yeah, it did warm me up to Riott a little bit more.
I liked the idea that he threw out the people on the ringside area, that's the way that it should be going down and stuff, but I also it's the bad part of being a cynical person who analyzes shit for a living. All leading up to this for the past couple of weeks has been, here are the possible scenarios of what they do with Charlotte Flair and the possible Asuka scenarios and blah, 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 blah. And they haven't announced anything on WWE.com, which means that it's pretty certain that Asuka is going to fight Charlotte and whatever. So it gets to a point when Asuka comes out and they were supposed to be like, what? Oh my God, I didn't see this coming. And it's like, all right, just fucking point to the sign already,
So, for a while, after the Rumble and going through Chamber and the first week after, they were adamant that Nia's gonna get added, it'll be a triple threat, and Asuka needs to run through Alexa and all this. And then all of a sudden on Monday, they flipped gears totally, and Michael Cole was like, what will Asuka do? And that's when I knew right away. I was like, okay, she can go on to Fastlane. And sure enough, she did the whole pointing to the sign thing. Now, I talked about this on the predictions. I don't like the idea of both Japanese contingents being on SmackDown. I think that right away that says that one of them is going to lose, first of all. And I don't think it's a smart thing to have on one brand. I will say, the total fantasy booking, I hope this leads to some point AJ and Charlotte versus Shinsuke and Asuka.
Well, I kind of hope in that scenario that Shinsuke Nakamura loses that WWE title match.
I think Asuka will lose to a cashing in Carmella.
Huh. I think more than anything that Asuka wins and then Carmella cashes in and Asuka beats her. But we'll see what the next couple of weeks are to kind of point into that. But one thing about this segment itself that I don't know if you noticed it. I know that when we were watching it in the basement, we were all laughing about it. Why was there like a competition of who can breathe heavier while pointing at the sign and stuff?
Yeah.
That was fucking weird. I can understand Charlotte kind of being out of breath. She just wrestled a match. Asuka came out and she was just kind of like, and it was like, whoa,
because
calm
I think
down.
it's like she's kind of, creepy. Like she's the creepy girl that will kill you, will smile at you while she's doing it.
Oh shit! Give her a paper bag. She's gonna hyperventilate the way that she was doing that. That was strange.
The weirdest thing to me was that maybe it's because I'm so used to the way things work. I thought they would have Asuka facing the other direction so she wouldn't have to break her stare down and could point directly at the sign while she's staring down Charlotte.
Yeah, you would kind of think that it would be like, it would make more sense for Asuka to be pointing past Charlotte at the WrestleMania sign and Charlotte to like hold up the title being like, you're going to have to go through me to get to this at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's what happened, and it did not.
That's the framing aspect, but even if they would have done that and they still would have been breathing heavily, it still would have been weird.
We have to talk about Byron's. Oh, wait, no, I thought it was this match. We got to backtrack a little bit to the Bobby Roode Randy Orton match. Byron Saxton called out Kevin Dunn.
What did he say? I didn't catch that.
So he wanted to see this replay of Randy hitting a suplex, and they wouldn't show it, and he kept asking for it, and then he goes, Kevin, can you bring that back up and freeze it at Randy Orton's back? And there's silence for about 3 seconds, and then Graves goes, well, I guess Saxton's making the audio calls in the truck now. And it just thought it was funny because even like JR and Michael Cole, like, I never heard anyone go, hey, Kevin, pull this up.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool moment, and I think like they had a few moments like that where, the commentators were asking for specific replays, and that might be a new thing that they're trying. I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that because I'm usually, talking and writing up the articles and stuff like that. The commentary is one of the things I don't pay too much attention to, but I like that if that's what happened because it seems more realistic, Just, hey, Kevin in the truck, like, you do your job, you truck monkey, like that kind of thing. Like,
did you see the free cam that was just kind of at ringside, just sitting on a tripod? It was just a free camera, like.
Oh, is that like triangular weird thing that they had before? I didn't notice.
Yeah.
That's some kind of VR thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They were testing that out at like some Monday Night Raw recently or something like that. I think I looked it up and it was like, yeah, they're testing out like VR tech. I don't know why necessarily at Fastlane. You would think that they would try that at like live events and stuff, but I guess they just wanted to see what's going on and figured, fuck it, it's a camera. People will be like, oh, another camera, Yeah, that's all the stuff that led up to the main event. Now, the main event was the 6-pack challenge for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles going in as the champion. The challengers being, originally it was supposed to be 1, then it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 4, then it was 5. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and John Cena. And they started this off with a bang. John Cena hitting an attitude adjustment on every single person except for AJ Styles. I thought that was kind of cool. You didn't like it?
It was a good, like, it was a funny little, okay, yeah, but it clearly said the story of this match is John Cena, AJ Styles, fuck everybody else. Now, granted, I knew immediately that Kevin and Sami were going to have a special spot because Shane McMahon was sitting ringside for this. But the way they started that, I just kind of felt like it made AJ look like the only sensible one, okay? Because, alright, Sami Zayn is a little overzealous, he gets AA'd. Kevin sees his friend get AA'd, he runs in, he gets one. Everybody after that should have stopped running at this guy. It's like jumping at Randy Orton. But
yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was just kind of like, oh, this is fun. Like, he's just hitting his finisher a bunch of times. And
if he would have hit it on AJ, I would have been fine with it. But AJ like feigning that he was going to run at him and then stopping because he's actually intelligent. This made me kind of feel like, all right, you kind of made the rest of the guys look like scrubs, but that's okay. Like,
well, that was something I actually liked about it. I liked the little spot with tossing AJ, finally getting that attitude adjustment onto the table. I liked that.
Through the table. Thought that was cool.
I was kind of curious about something with the commentary tables, though. Who decides that the German table gets ringside treatment while the other ones, like Funaki and them, are like, nah, you're up in the fucking upper decks?
I think it depends on who they're trying to build partnerships with. I don't know.
It's kind of a weird, like, do they do Rochambeau backstage or something like that? You know, like,
you would think it'd be English, Spanish, and I guess French, you know, like, or maybe, I guess Mandarin is their new thing. Why isn't Mandarin sitting ringside?
Yeah, what would it be? Because it would definitely be English and Spanish would be 2 out of the 3.
And I guess Mandarin, because in the modern world, that would be the third language, maybe even the second.
But then again, if WWE is more popular on a certain other platform like India, then it would be like, I don't know. That's kind of weird. But I thought it was weird that it was just kind of like, and then like the Germans, they get this tonight, and it's just like, okay. But I liked that spot. I really liked the inclusion of Kevin Owens accidentally kicking Shane McMahon and him getting involved and stopping the pins and stuff like that, which that turns into something that we're going to address over the next couple of weeks and stuff, which there is a rumor going around the past couple of days that Dolph Ziggler would fight Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. There is no way that can happen now.
Yeah, I see Shane and Bryan versus Kevin and Sami.
I'm thinking triple threat. Another triple threat.
Yeah, I can't. Because there's no logical reason as to why the commissioner of SmackDown Live should be put in the triple threat match. 1-on-1, if you have a personal vendetta, that's fine. But in a case like this, you know, just do.
The fact that they keep doing this Owens and Zayn not getting along thing makes it seem to me like it's all right. Kevin wants to fight Sami. Sami wants to fight Kevin. Kevin wants to fight Shane. Shane wants to fight Sami and Owens. Zayn wants to fight Shane. Like, so it's like, it's all 3 want to fight all 3.
But then on Talking Smack, you know, Shane again goes back to Daniel Bryan, and it's like,
oh, see, I didn't watch Talking Smack.
Well, you know, I think Bryan is blinded by these guys, and he just wants to live vicariously through them because he wants to wrestle. And I'm like, all right, don't go there.
Maybe he's a special guest referee.
I thought about that too, but then you have to have him hit the knee or something. And if he hits the knee, then it's like, well, can he bump? You know, like, they back themselves into these weird fucking corners, dude.
I'm starting to think that might be the scenario where they thought about potentially doing a tag team match. And then they said, you know what? We really just don't want to clear them. And I think that the Page thing stopped them from that. And we're going to get Owens, Zayn, McMahon, triple threat, Daniel Bryan as a special guest referee, because they did allow him to be the special guest referee for Mixed Match Challenge. So at the very least, they know that that's okay. And that's kind of how they get to figure out who gets the pin. Something happens. Owens maybe gets the pin on Shane or something. I don't know. I think that's where we go.
What do you get out of that, though?
You don't get anything. That's the problem with it. But I don't know.
I'll stick to my tag match idea. Like, I feel like after what happened, Owen and Zayn can easily be like, you know, yeah, you know, we're better off fighting this common thread. And then Shane needs a partner. And I really heavily thought for 2 seconds, I don't know, maybe Shane just teams with John Cena. But that would be such a waste of John.
Well, the other thing, too, is if that's the case, and it seems like they're going in that direction a little bit, some kind of connection between Owens, Zayn, and McMahon, possibly Bryan, too. then that rules out that whole rumor of the Ziggler and Shane thing, which didn't make any sense to me to begin with at first. But then I'm thinking, well, what if it is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and they fight Dolph Ziggler and Shane McMahon?
I thought about that as well.
That still doesn't give Ziggler his singles match.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks. And then I don't care to see that either. Like, that doesn't seem all that interesting to me. And if you don't get that, then what does Ziggler do at WrestleMania? You know, like it's kind of...
That's why I pitched the whole, he gets in the U.S. title ladder match, even though that's not what he wants. Like, I feel like Ziggler, with the stages that they're in, people won't like this match. But Ziggler versus Cena, with the stages that they're in, could make a lot of sense. It's just not a marquee position.
Well, the whole Cena thing, everybody's going, oh, that's got to be Undertaker. It doesn't necessarily need to be Undertaker.
It doesn't. And, if they were going to do Taker... Now, Callum mentioned doing a really cool open challenge deal. But if you do something like that and Taker shows up at like the last week or the second to last week, you just get mad because why didn't they build it up to begin with? They didn't need a lot of promo time. They could have just announced 5-6 weeks out, hey, John and Taker are fighting, and shown, vignettes. They could have gotten away with that. I really fully expected, especially after the AA on the steps to Corbin, I thought it was going to be 1, 2, gong, lights up, phenomenal form, but it was not. In fact, Cena got laid out by Owens, and that was just it. Like, AJ pinned Owens, and it was whatever.
See, I didn't expect Undertaker to interfere in this. I thought maybe he would pop up afterward, but I didn't think that he was going to be a good guarantee to screw him, because right now, John Cena doesn't have any kind of like personal vendetta with The Undertaker. He just kind of called him out and said, like, I kind of wanted a match with Undertaker, but it's not going to happen. Taker screwing Cena would be like, why are you being a dick? You know what I mean? Kind of like that sort of thing. But I do think tomorrow night technically tonight on Raw, that they're going to do something where he just goes like, look, I lost this match, I lost that match, I lost that match. I'm panicking, man. I don't know what I'm going to do for WrestleMania. I really wish I could do that Undertaker match, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but then you run the risk of having John Cena look like a bitch and coming out and like basically pleading and crying and begging for the spot. Which is fine if you're going to do something where he's kind of heel, but if you've got a guy who's doing the Kids' Choice Awards and possibly hosting Blue's Clues, can he be a heel?
Yeah, well, it's tough because he can be a heel, but he can't be a heel. He can just be the one that you don't necessarily back because it's The Undertaker, and that's weird. But the bottom line, they ended up needing to get done into this match was Styles needed to retain.
Styles and Nakamura will have their dream match at WrestleMania,
and it'll probably be a little bit underwhelming, and
absolutely,
a lot of people won't care
because now they're doing this thing where they're blowing so much smoke with this match that you're almost bound to be underwhelmed. And then if you put it on the wrong spot on the card, if it goes on top of the first hour, like 7 going into 8, or even 8 going into 9, then people are upset because it's the WWE title and the guy who won the Rumble, and then we know we're definitely getting Roman in the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope to see some intensity build towards this matchup, because the whole, okay, it's a dream match thing is cute, but it's not gonna sell WrestleMania.
Yeah, so that's the point of what Fastlane was supposed to be. Like, when push comes to shove, Fastlane is supposed to sell you WrestleMania. At the end of this, I feel the same as I did before.
I'll admit I'm a little more intrigued because I thought what they would do with Sami and Kevin, I thought it was going to be as simple as Sami said he was going to lay down for Kevin, goes to lay down for Kevin, and Shane stops it because it's the noble thing to do, because, hey, you can't fuck these other, 4 guys in this match. But no, Shane came across looking like a major dick for costing both Kevin and Sami the WWE title. Sami and Kevin started beating the shit out of each other. Kevin even tried to powerbomb on the apron. So I can't really see them being too friendly. So that confused me. John looked really disgruntled after his match. So I'm intrigued on where they go with him. And other than that, we got triple threat for the SmackDown tag titles. AJ is going to fight Nakamura, which should be good, maybe underwhelming. And that's really it. They're building a lot of this WrestleMania around everybody's panicking about possibly not being on the show. Which, because even after Bobby lost and he didn't turn heel, but he DDT'd Mahal, he DDT'd Randy, and they were like, Bobby is distraught that he has lost the United States title, and we're only 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, and what does he do now? And it's like, it's such a weird thing to keep playing up the fact that nobody knows what they're doing at Mania.
It is strange because it is multiple storylines. It's all across the board pretty much is what's going to happen at Mania as like a functional storyline. Is Brock Lesnar going to show up? Is Dolph Ziggler going to get his singles match? Are the New Day and the Usos going to get a match? Like the different things like that. So I don't know. I guess they have these next couple of weeks to sell us on the things we're not sold on yet. And if not, then they're going to look at that and go, well, that's your WrestleMania. Either fucking like it or don't. Like that kind of thing. But Fastlane is not the type of thing that made me go, wow. And it didn't make me get more detracted, I guess you could say. So it's kind of a wash. And that's not good enough in a lot of different ways. But could be worse. So if you're optimistic, then hey, a couple things made me kind of a little bit curious. Like, Randy Orton title win. Okay, neat. But that's kind of it. This is as far as what I had to say about it. Anything else you wanted to say?
I'm gonna just echo your sentiment. Like, it wasn't as terrible as I thought going into it, but it just left a lot of like scratching heads. What happens now, and not in a good way.
Well, what did you guys have to say about this? Make sure you leave your comments below and tell us what your thoughts are for Fastlane 2018. Whether you agreed with us, whether you disagreed with us, or whether you want to tell us a recipe for your favorite cheesecake or whatever the fuck. I don't really care.
Cheesecake sounds so fucking good right now.
It really is. I've seen like 3 different things today of like Oreo cheesecake, cookie pie things and stuff. And I'm just like, God damn it, I want some cheesecake. That's why it's on my mind. But yeah, that's it for this, everybody. If you want to be aware of the next thing that's going to be posted on the channel, that's obviously going to be the hot tags. I don't know if we're going to be recording that Monday night or Tuesday in the afternoon or Tuesday night. Probably, I'm assuming, late Monday night or so. I don't know. It'll happen when it happens. Later on this week, is going to be the fantasy booking for WrestleMania 34, where I'll be telling you guys what I would do if somebody gave me the chance to go back to last year's WrestleMania and rebook a lot of different things. So you're going to see some matches that we're actually getting here, oddly enough. You're going to see some matches that we've already seen this year, and the kind of preface of like, yeah, well, you wouldn't have seen it yet until now, and like different things like that, and a couple that we haven't seen at all. That's coming up, though, and if you want to be aware of those things, the best thing to do is to hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel and to ring the bell for notifications. But you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, and you can check the SmarkOutMoment.com website itself, too, because things get posted on there, no matter what it is. And I recently changed something on Smark Out Moment, so I'm curious if anybody sees anything different about this. I switched over to the HTTPS, more secure side of things. I'd never had a chance to do it before, and Blogger finally gave me the option for it. So Google fucked a couple things up in the process, because that's what Google does. And I think I've gotten everything to work right. I have actually the AdSense thing is trying to penalize me for my WrestleMania 34 predictions. They're trying to say that has no valuable content on it. And I don't know what the deal is with that. Because they flagged it for the HTTP and the HTTPS. And I sent them a thing saying, can I request a review? And they got back to me saying, yeah, one of them is okay and the other one isn't. It's the same exact page. There's literally no difference. So I don't know what's going on with that. But if you guys go on smark.moment.com and you see anything acting weird, maybe like the widget doesn't work right on the sidebar that says the recent posts, that was something I had to fix, or the slider on the homepage, or maybe the breakdown of like the posts that are in the homepage sections aren't the right things or something like that. Maybe the ads aren't loading correctly, anything like that. Let me know. Drop me an email with the feedback section of the contact form, because actually the contact form was something that wasn't working right at first. I had to fix that one. Any kind of errors like that, just let me know, and that'll be really, really helpful. Same thing for fanboysanonymous.com. I had to change the same thing because the website's the same kind of basic layout, but I think I might have fixed those as well. Follow the fanboy stuff at fanboys, you know what that is. And for myself, at Tony Mango, and for Robert, at Dude Felice.
Yes,
anything else you want to toss out there?
You can follow at Pandemonium Mania. That's one word, PANDEMONIU Mania. It's my blog. I'm trying to do, it's a little more personal than what we do here at Smark at the moment, but it's me and a friend who are trying to make this thing happen. Go ahead and follow that. Mostly follow me at Dude Felice, interact with me, give me something to do. And, we'll be here for the hot tags when we're here.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode. As always, really appreciate all the support that you guys give out there. Real quick mention about the Patreon as well. If you want to help support us with those things, patreon.com/fanboysanonymous and patreon.com/smarkoutmoment.
Plug the T-Public, Tony. Tell them to buy a t-shirt. You got some nice t-shirts.
Yeah, I haven't uploaded anything in a while for that. If you have any suggestions about it, let me know. I should probably add some more designs pretty soon. But there are some t-shirts. WWE takes them down every once in a while. I don't know why. Especially like the Eat, Sleep, Repeat. They're just kind of like, fuck you, you cannot sell that one. And I'm like, it's just simple text. It's weird. If you want to show off that you want to vote for The Rock in 2020, that one sells a lot. That sells more than any other t-shirt that I have right now. It's like, I don't know why it's the number one seller. People just really love The Rock. And same thing for Fanboys Anonymous on there, and A Mango Tees as well. Redbubble too. Those shop stuff's on smarkmoment.com too. So you'll see that kind of stuff if you head over there. But that's it for the pay-per-view point for this one. And we will see you next time, everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment. We're being counted out.